everybody to the Twin Cities Real Estate Unlimited show. My name is Laurie and I'm with the MLSonline.com. I'm a realtor located out of Champlin, Minnesota, and with me on the broadcast is Brian Nelson. Brian, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Sure. My name is Brian Nelson, and I am with Mortgages Unlimited. I am a loan originator here, and I'm broadcasting live from Maple Grove, Minnesota, which is our corporate headquarters.
Great. Thanks for coming in onto the broadcast with me, Brian. And I wanted to show everybody, first thing that I'm going to do here is show everybody our page that we operate out of for our Twin Cities Real Estate Unlimited show. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my page here and show everybody what our Facebook page looks like. One second while I bring that up. I know that's not quite the screen we were looking for. There it is. So Brian, are you able to see that okay?
I am, and it shows both of us there, the show and everything, our Facebook page.
Yeah, we want to direct all our fans and people out there looking into real estate subjects and the topics that we bring each week. Usually about 3:30 on Wednesdays is when we try to do the show for about 10 or 15 minutes. And this is a good place for you to go ahead and like the page, follow us. We'll have different articles and different topics each week, and you can just simply scroll down and see some of the past videos. Also, if you just bring up under video here, it'll show you some of the shows. All right, so I wanted to kind of let people know that's where you can follow us. Our contact information is on there as well. So we have Brian's information here, mine is here, phone numbers, etc. And we'll give some information at the end of the show as well for how to get a hold of us. I'm going to start out the show today to talk a little bit about statistics within the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, specifically the Centennial School District, and that is located in the Circle Pines, Lexington, some of Blaine area. And what I've done here is brought up a report, and we can do this for any area within the Twin Cities. Naming the school district, I can just choose how I want to research this, and I did choose school district, and then I just typed in Centennial. And when I'm in there, it allows me to pick price range if I'd like to narrow down to certain price range, property type if I want to look at just single family or just townhouse, and I can pick new construction or previously owned. So I can narrow it down quite a bit. Bedrooms, also waterfront. In this case, I left the statistic wide open, and I just brought up a chart that showed the last 10 years of housing statistics for houses sold average price. And I thought this was a very cool screen to share, and I can also share it in another way here. Whereas I go here and then look at it in the window. And this is the one I've shared to our Facebook page. And what's nice about this chart is it's interactive. So as people go to our page and click on that chart, you'll be able to hover over the time frame. So for instance, if you purchased your home in 2013, May of 2013, in the Centennial School District, and this is a very average, taking all homes and all prices into consideration, the average price range was $206,000. And since then, in 3 years' time, we saw a little bit of correction and upward swing. We're now at $270,964. So a lot of those people who got hit with the recession and the depths of 2011, 2012, they've seen recovery. And why this is important is I had a conversation with a homeowner today out of Andover, which isn't quite in this district, but very close. And they were saying that they bought at the very height of the market back over here, and they paid the top dollar. They overbought, in other words. And they didn't know that they had been recovered since then. And while we're not quite at 273, we are at 270,000, so 3,000, almost 2,000 really when you consider it's 270,964. So we're seeing average appreciation. What we would need to do from here is get a realtor, a qualified real estate agent in that area who's knowledgeable about the area, and myself included. I have an appraisal background in my history as well. So somebody to get in and do a specific market analysis about your home in your particular area so that you can learn what your particular home value should be at this time. And of course, we use market statistics. It's not a perfect science, but Brian, it's a pretty helpful tool for those people thinking of, buying something, moving up, or moving to a townhouse, moving away from the home that they've been in for the last 10 years, and who really aren't sure what their value has done. This is a pretty significant, very average overall look, but it's very good news.
So Laurie, before you went on there, the years on the bottom were cut off, so you can pull it back up a sec.
I sure can.
The lowest point, so on that graph, the lowest point was what? That was, yeah, if you hover down.
Let me see if I can highlight some of this. It might have not, and it's not giving me much chance to raise that page up. But at the lowest point, we were in January or December of 2011. That's that lowest part right here. November, December 2011. They went down to 167,000, Brian. That was the bottom line.
Oh, isn't your mouse over around the 200 mark, or is that actually? It looks like it's lower than where your mark is hovering.
My mark is right here at 2012. The picture.
Oh, I see. It is. Okay, look.
Triangle, or I'm sorry, the rectangle that's telling us the news is over the 2010 mark. Yeah. But my mouse is actually hovering right here on the low part.
Okay.
And then that rectangle follows up. It's always a little bit off to the left. Good
right.
Point, though. That's probably hard to see. So with that said, somebody, with that said, somebody wanting to sell their home may not realize that they're indeed in a very good equity position, and that they absolutely can take a look at working with a realtor at this point. By the way, I need to apologize for my background. I had just finished up a class here at the North Metro Event Center in Shoreview, and the class has just exited. I'm actually waving goodbye to one more student, and then we're on track here to continue for our show. So, Brian, are you still with me?
I am, and the point you made about people not knowing what that the property value has increased since they've owned it. Not only when they're selling, but some people out there may like their home and they want to stay there forever, and they're thinking of refinancing. Rates have went low, and they're thinking, well, I just owe more than my house is worth. Well, you just showed the example there. It's almost back to where it was at.
For all practical purposes, it really is. Yeah. And so refi is an excellent point, because, as realtors, ultimately, we want to keep home ownership alive. That's what our point is. We're very active in lobbying for home ownership, and refi is a great way for somebody to pull equity out and maybe do something else with their life, including an investment property or second home. But refinancing at these interest rates has got to be a phenomenal opportunity. So with that, I'm going to throw that back over to you, Brian.
Yes, well, it is a good time to do that. And, along with that, what I wanted to talk to you today about is, what does a lender look for when they're doing a mortgage? And we refer to them as the 5 C's. And I want to share my screen with you here to get an idea of what exactly we're talking about. And on this, I pulled this from the website is from just plain Credit Karma. I pulled it up, and the topic is, what do lenders look at when you apply for a mortgage? And so it talks about the 5 C's, and I just wanted to go over those with you, kind of so you have an understanding of what we as a mortgage company look at. So the first one is credit history, and that may seem obvious, but we're looking at your credit. We're looking at the actual debts that you have, your history of your payments, how long you've had the accounts out and such. The second C is capacity, and that's your ability to make that payment. So on that, you're looking at, how much money do you make? Are you able to make the mortgage payment into the future? Also, they're looking at, how long you've been at your job, how stable is your ability to make that. Basically, your capacity to make that payment. The third C is capital. This is where how much you're putting into the transaction, how much skin in the game is, how much reserves you have left over afterwards. So with that, they're looking at all of that. That makes an important part of their decision. And the last two C's are some stuff that's kind of out of your control. The next one is conditions. Now this is talking about like what are you going to be using the house for? Are you going to be renting it out all the time, or are you actually going to be, you know, what is the actual economy out there? So that's kind of like the lending conditions out there. And the last thing is collateral, and that's the actual condition of the house. If they have to take that house back, they're going to want that to appeal to the most number of people. So the condition has to be move-in ready. And that is basically the 5 C's of lending. And we look at those, and chances are if there's a reason that your loan is not being approved or you're having issues, it's because of one of those areas. And so just kind of wanted to give you just a basic 101 on mortgages and just let you know what, what's involved in our decision-making process. Does that make sense, Laurie?
So I'm going to kind of, when I re-describe this video and it goes out on YouTube and our Facebook page and all those places, I'm going to title that the 5 C's of lending. Would that be a good title?
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
And then I'll put a little bit of statistics about Centennial District as well, so we can follow with that. And I'm going to bring them over. I'm going to get ready to show our Facebook page again, so that we can tell about our contact information. But Brian, I know you always have a website that I'm not sure is on our page here, so let's remind everybody what that is.
Sure. People can get a hold of me at www.closewithbrian.com.
I know you also have the www.briannelsonmortgages.com. Is that all right to put on there already as well?
Yes.
All right. And then you have an office that you're located out of Maple Grove and Mortgages Unlimited there, as well as another office kind of over towards the Wisconsin side, correct?
I do. One day a week. I'm in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, and opened a branch there. I'll be spending some more time in the future there, but getting all that organized and enjoying some of the business over there.
Right. Okay. So people can tune in, and our information is right there on this page for them to touch base with us. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just sign off from Laurie here in Shoreview and Brian in Maple Grove. We sure do appreciate you tuning in. Please share this video with anybody you know considering selling home or refinancing or looking at getting a mortgage for a home. And Brian is always happy to take your application online as well. That was the closewithbrian.com. And my website is laurieknudsen.themlsonline.com. We're also very Google searchable if you need to do that, right?
That's right. And next week, we have some very important information that we want to release and tell the public. But you're going to have to wait till next week to hear about the exciting news at Mortgages Unlimited. So.
Oh, I'll be sure to be listening in for that as well then. I can't wait to hear it. Okay, so for now, goodbye. And if you have any questions, please do reach out to either Brian or myself. Thanks.
Thank you all.